Hi, everybody. Jack O'Malley. How are you today? I hope well. I'm coming to you from the office of the 101st in Lansing, down for the COVID Oversight Committee, but it got canceled today. Be straight with you. One of our representatives, not on the committee, but in the House, did come down with COVID. So just to be ultra cautious, they kept everybody, they just canceled it and will reschedule. Just for the record, I was not in contact with that representative last week. I am not on the list and I'm good to go. But I do want to, and we will reschedule this committee probably in a week or two or whenever. We were having the state's chief medical person, Dr. Caldoun, in to discuss the situation and decisions that were made and how we went about things. One of the things that bothers me is that, again, we hear the term transparency from government all the time. And I know sometimes the minutia of an issue can bog you down, but I think there are some generalities that can be discussed and the decisions that are made. And I think that is, there's a lot of people who stand by the governor, think she's done a great job. And then there are others who have questions. And I will say that I'm in both camps. I stood with the governor early on. She's done a few things here throughout the thing that maybe I didn't disagree with everything. But overall, since the early stages of this, the first month or so, first 4 or 5 weeks, she's gone on her own, stopped listening to the legislature, and I can't abide by that. And when we do ask, the legislature asks for answers. What about this? What about that? We don't get that information. We're told of science and data, and we don't get it. And this committee, the COVID Oversight Committee, has asked for information, emails, and records. And DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, has dragged their feet to the point that our chairman had to threaten a subpoena. And now we're being told that we'll get these records, and I believe they're coming next week. So we'll see if it happens. But why do we have to get to the point where you threaten with a subpoena or the likelihood of a subpoena? That's just, it's goofy. So science and data, there's a lot of people in the state who would like to say, well, okay, what's the science and data in Michigan that says all these businesses need to be closed, where science and data in other states say it can be opened? I mean, that's what it boils down to. Explain to us the reasoning. And that's why I'm saddened that we had to cancel today's COVID committee because Dr. Caldoun was going to be in. And she's right next to the top, right? So hopefully we'll get that rescheduled here in the next week or two, and we can have her in because the questions aren't going away. Speaking of the governor, were you surprised when you heard that yesterday the governor extended the state of emergency related to the new coronavirus, yada, yada, until October 27th? While also keeping in place various protections and restrictions on healthcare facilities and grocery stores, as she signed 5 executive orders. So, gosh, she's up to about 190 now, I think, isn't she? Maybe she's crested it. She's going for 200. 200. Also, the governor's office said the state's 7-day case positivity rate has remained between 3% and 3.7% since July. During that same period, the state has remained between 61 and 71 daily new cases per million, with a date of symptom onset. So, no surprise. Again, we are waiting on the Supreme Court for their ruling on the doctor's case with regard to the 1945 Emergency Powers Act. I'm recording this early. It is about 1 o'clock on Wednesday, so maybe that'll come in yet today. If it does, it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I think we'd be hearing from them soon. One quick thing, though, I do need to say, because we're starting to hear the announcements, and there's truth to this, folks. We do have to be careful. We're heading into flu season, and we want everybody to be careful. And we do still have the coronavirus out there, and you don't want to get it. So if you don't have to, right? So let's all be safe. Let's use smart protocols. Let's social distance. Let's wash our hands. Sanitize when you're done, and wear the masks if you're able, right? All right, let's see here. What else have we got here? Let's go to the election because that's a big discussion because it's coming up. Michigan's former Secretaries of State, Ruth Johnson, now Senator Ruth Johnson, and Terry Lynn Land filed a federal lawsuit today asking the court to rule any policy counting absentee ballots received after Election Day violates the law. That is, in the state's law, the Court of Claims judge said that they can move within 14 days, right? Post to count, which in theory is against the law. You would expect our Secretary of State and Attorney General to stand up and argue that because it went against the rules and the law, but they didn't. They go on to say this policy to abandon the legislature's role in establishing the time and manner of elections threatens the integrity of the upcoming election, will result in widespread and severe vote dilution. Let's see here. What else? The SOS spokesperson said the lawsuit is clearly politically motivated with the goal of confusing and disenfranchising voters. No, we're saying, look, you've got to follow the law, and a judge shouldn't just be able to create a new law. They're to interpret, not create law. That's the legislature's job. Remember, executive, judicial, legislative. The spokesperson goes on to say, our department will continue to encourage voters to request and return their absentee ballots as soon as possible. Yes, and to consider hand delivering them to their clerk's office or local ballot drop box. Yes. So instead of sending out a zillion envelopes at a high cost to tell people to get their mail-in ballot, are they doing a good job of saying mail that ballot in or hand deliver it? We need more of that, not just a spokesperson. We've got a zillion public service announcements on television and radio talking about COVID. Why can't one of them or two of them start saying, hey, get your ballot in early. It's your responsibility, right? Then we wouldn't need that 14-day thing the judge said. And I know, I'm trying to disenfranchise people. No, I'm trying to say it's your job to get your ballot in. And you can mail it in, deliver it, put it in the drop box. It's all legal. The suit goes on to say it's the Michigan legislature's responsibility to set state election law, and the legislature followed the federal government by enacting an 8 p.m. election day deadline for mail-in ballots to arrive. The law is the constitutionally prescribed mandate for Michigan, the suit reads. The late receipt deadline also usurps the power of the Michigan legislature to set the manner of conducting elections. The suit also alleges that the delay risks placing the resolution of the contest past dates Congress has set for both the safe harbor and the actual vote of the Electoral College, which is all true. So how about... Secretary Benson, how about more public service announcements saying, hey, get the ballot in on time, mail it, deliver it by hand, put it in a drop box. That makes sense to me. All right, one other issue here, just so you know, there are a lot of, people squawk about the mail-in ballot. Again, people like it. It's being used. You can agree or disagree, but it is. Michigan voters already have requested 2.5 million absentee ballots. That's ahead by about 350% increase compared to the same time prior to the 2016 election. So that's a big chunk right there. At this point, clerks have issued 2 million ballots. That's a 400% increase. So far, just over 28,000 of those ballots have been sent back. So that's the other thing. Just because you ask for it and get it doesn't mean you're going to send it back. So all very interesting situations. So that's what I got for you today. An update, a lot going on and continuing. So, stay on top of things. Let's be safe out there. Again, especially as we head into this election season, and there's a lot of people squawking and arguing on both sides. Let's keep, I haven't mentioned this in a while, and it's probably bad of me not to. Let's keep praying for each other out there, right? I pray for the state all the time, and all the officials, governor too, because we need to get this right. So let's be kind to each other. Let's be respectful to each other. We can disagree and not hate each other, right? I mean, I see it. I get some of those comments, because I believe one way. I'm a blinkety blankety blinkety blanker, and I'm not. We just might not agree on the exact path to get somewhere. So we all want safe elections. We just have some different thoughts on how to get there. So let's keep praying for each other. Let's respect each other. All right? We can disagree respectfully. All right? I'm out of here. Have a good day. We'll talk again on Friday. I'm sure something will have happened between now and then.